Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way, fighting forever against overwhelming odds, fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms, idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Iceland Dale, head out to show, or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay, fighting forever against overwhelming odds, fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms, idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions, idle champions, idle champions, idle champions.
Hey, that's my cue. Late on the cues the last couple days. Welcome, everybody. I'm Gaarawarr, and this is Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. That means it's Saturday. Happy Saturday, folks. It's the weekend. Well, it's what, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5ers generally refer to as the weekend, and everybody else just kind of goes along with it, I guess. Jordan is with me, as you see in chat. Jordan's with me today, doing the producing, and there's going to be a lot of producing today, folks. Not just the grabbing the questions and the watching over chat, but MooBot is not working. So if you're trying to get the bot to work, it took the weekend off. I think of multiple pieces of software took the weekend off. So Jordan will be posting the code in chat. She just did. And it is pinned to the top of chat. So if anybody needs the code, please direct them to the correct place. Although I see MooBot in chat. I don't know. I see MooBot putting up but it's MooBot's being weird, folks. It might work for some things, but it was not working for other things. So yeah, it's not allowing us to modify anything. So the code for today is going to be pinned at the top, and Jordan will be doing all the stuff, and we'll be manually putting in links for things. So I don't know. It just decided to do. It was like, it's like me some days. You know what? Nah. New information? Nah. Regurgitation. So it's going to regurgitate. And we're going to manually do stuff. So, which is a good time to point out, y'all can't post links in chat. But we can. So we'll take care of you if you need us to track something down. If you do have a question for us, like I see one up here from Ivy, yes, please put question : in front of your question. and then we will get them grabbed and put into the chat so I can answer them in the second half of the show. You're gonna have to be patient with me, folks, because the tutorial show is 2 1-hour segments. The first hour is me talking a lot, and the second hour is me talking a lot. Wait. It's me answering the questions that you asked during the first hour and are asking in the second hour. You can ask on any topic. It doesn't just have to be today's topic. Today's topic, by the way, Season 4, Legends of Mithral Hall. Yay! If you couldn't tell by my screen. This is today's topic. We're going to be talking about the... well, first off, what is a season? And who are the Legends of Mithral Hall? What is Mithral Hall? What's going on, and what happened to the champions that were in the season because they don't work the same anymore? Yeah, we're going to be doing all that stuff. I am going to hit up one question. I'm going to answer one question right now. It's Praise 7, it's your birthday, because I'm going to answer your question. Before we start, how do I apply the code? Right up here, there's a little chest button, right? You click that, it takes you to this screen. This locked box is called the cryptex. Click on it, paste the code in. I like to copy paste. Make sure you have the asterisk in there. Click unlock. This is a 16-digit code, so copy pasting is the best way, and boom, you get yourself a chest. That's the only question I'm going to answer right now, though. For the rest of them, we're going to have to wait. So, Legends of Mithral Hall, folks. Legends of Mithral Hall is Season 4. That means we've had 4 seasons. We've been through the full yearly rotation. Well, sort of. Because, there's 4 seasons in a year. Literally, that's what it's named after for. Here, at least. I know some games do seasons that are like, a few weeks or whatever, and no. They do seasonal seasons here. So, seasons are basically content, long-term content, kind of pieces where there's gonna be some quests that you'll do. There's 3 different types of quests you do. There's rewards you can get. Just for playing the game. This season there's bonus rewards, and there's buffs that you're going to get. Seasons are built around 5 champions primarily. So right now, this season, these are the 5 champions. We got your Regis, your Catti-brie, your Wolfgar, your Pwent, and your Artemis. And everything about the season is kind of themed, and the rewards and everything are themed around these 5 champions. So as you can see, there's going to be a reward this season of Mythic Catti-brie. This is a skin for Catti-brie, right? So there's going to be lots of rewards that are based around these 5 champions. There'll also be things that are just nice in general that you can use on anyone. But that's the kind of the way the season works. And what they do with these 5 champions is they pick 5 and they kind of rebalance some of them. That's the best way to put it. Very rare. It's kind of like, how much time, how heavy are they going to be doing reworks, and how much time are they going to have? Sometimes it's a couple major reworks, a couple minor reworks, and then one champion's just going to get some nice feats and some bonus stuff. It doesn't get changed at all. And that's kind of the way this one works. So Regis and Pwent got some solid changes. Wolfgar and Catti-brie got some bigger changes, and Artemis just got some stuff that makes Artemis even better than he was before. Just some feats, and he'll get a skin, and it's yay. Because this is the Legends of Mithral Hall. What is Mithral Hall? Mithral Hall is the famed lost, well, at one point, early on in the books of the Legend of Drizzt books, it was the famed lost dwarven hall of Bruenor Battlehammer and his clan. Now, in our game, we have the companions of the hall. And I want to be clear, this is not the season of the companions of the hall. This is the season of the Legends of Mithral Hall. These are two different things. There's only 5 champions in the companions. It's Regis, Catti-brie, Wulfgar, Bruenor, the leader of the companions, and Drizzt. Those are the 5, right? But you'll note, Bruenor and Drizzt aren't here. They did get some minor changes in this season, because, I mean, they're also Legends of Mithral Hall, but they're not the 5 main champions. Their friend Jarlaxle also got a minor change too. We'll talk about those towards the end. But the season primarily is going to focus around the Legends of Mithral Hall, because these 5 champions have legendary stories related to them that are featured in or around Mithral Hall in the books, in the Legend of Drizzt books. If you want to read them, I highly recommend them. There's like 30 plus books now. It's become a thing. It started out with like a 3-book series, and now it's a whole thing. It's great. I love it. I got them all right over there. Oh, you can't see. My bad. So the season is going to start in 4 days, but the changes to the champions went live already. They refer to this as preview week. It's going to be live, as you can see, in 4 days, 2 hours and 48 minutes. And what's going to happen is all the quests will go live. You'll be able to start earning experience. That's a thing. You get XP from the quests. You also get favor from the quests, so there's going to be a seasonal favor. The favor, unless they've changed it, and I haven't heard anything about it, doesn't really do anything during the season. It's more of a multiplier like from events and time gates at the end of the season, except your season favor multiplies all of your campaigns. So you get bonus favor in all your campaigns at the end of the season. So the big thing we're going to be dealing with is experience from quests. There used to be a currency. There used to be a quest currency, like a seasonal currency. They got rid of that this season. Now rewards, just when you get to each level, to certain levels, you get rewards. No more having to worry about, where you're going to spend, what's the most efficient way to spend. These aren't worth the price. It's just, this is what you get. And that's good. For the most part, some people have complained that, but we get fewer rewards at the end, and it's like, okay, but like, I'm gonna be honest, folks, they were giving us a wealth of riches in tier 11. I mean, come on, that wasn't gonna last that long. So enjoy it while you had it. Now we get lots and lots of rewards. That's going to go live Wednesday. All the changes already went live during preview week for the champions. See quests coming soon. There's going to be daily quests, so log in daily. There's 3 quests a day. That tends to be like, those are the ones you really want to make sure you're focusing on, to be honest. I started a new player account back when the last season started, and I'll be honest, all the seasonal quests and the milestone quests, the more long-term quests, I didn't even bother trying to grind them, and yet I had finished almost all of them at the end. So I highly recommend you focus on the daily quests. That's where the largest bulk of your XP usually resides anyway. And let you'll build formations around long-term earning the others, and it'll be just fine as long as you just use those formations regularly. It's not that big of a deal. Some people stress way too hard about grinding out the seasonal quests, which are like, there'll be 7 seasonal quests that load in once a week, and they will stay there the whole season until you complete them. And then there's 10 milestone quests that have 10 tiers each to them that you have to work through with ever-increasing goals. But again, as long as you kind of build some formations around the season and around kind of what those ask for, and then just go play the game with those, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. Trust me. Rewards. So here's kind of what the reward track now looks like. We used to have a scroll down tier thing with 11 tiers. But 10 basic tiers, and then 11th tier with repeatable purchases. Now it's a scroll. Now there's just rewards after rewards. Like level 1. What's level 1 mean? Well, like I said before, you get experience. So you'll start at level 0 in the season. Every time you complete any kind of quest, you're going to get a bucket of experience poured into your season tracker. And as you get rewards, this is what you claim. Now, the top track is the free-to-play track, and the bottom track is the paid path. So this is if you get a season pass, the stuff on the bottom will be what you get, and it doesn't matter when you get it. If you work your way all the way up to level 48 and then decide to buy the season pass, you'll get all the stuff up to level 48 when you do. So the season pass, in the past it was like $10, and based off the stuff that you get in terms of like the overall permanent bonuses to your account, in my opinion, the most efficient way to spend $10 in this game ever. Like, if you've never supported the game, but you know you're gonna play, you know you're gonna get through the season stuff, you're going to play enough to unlock all this kind of stuff. For $10, it's a lot. And if you're unsure, you can play for a while. See how much progress you're making. And then go, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to have a lot of stuff here. I'm going to support the game, right? I want to be clear, though. You know, there is a lot of good stuff in the free-to-play path, but they do put the serious stuff in the paid path. They got to try to keep the lights on somehow, folks. So if you can't support the game in this way, it's all right. It's all right. There's a sale I'll tell you what, if you only got like $3, there's a sale going on right now for Wave the Space Eel Familiar for $3. Look, familiars are forever. That's our new hashtag. Hashtag familiars are forever. $3 for familiar, folks. If that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But look, one of the nice things is right away, level 1, you're going to get some time gate pieces. 3 time gate pieces. Why 3? Because during the season, the seasonal champions are all on sale for 3 time gate pieces. That means if you don't have these 5 champions, you can pick them up at half cost, unlock them for only 3 time gate pieces. Because what's going to happen is the quests that are going on during the season are going to be revolving around these 5 champions. So one of the first things you're going to want to do as a player, if you don't have the champions already, pick them up. Right now, though, you can get Caddy Bree for free. I think that code's still active. Is there a command for that? Legends? Is it something? Yeah, Legends Summer. Someone in chat. I think Moobot is now somewhat working. Caddy Bree is free, so you can pick up Caddy Bree, and I think get some time gate pieces. So they do offer giveaways. There we go. There it is. Legend Summer. Nice. Caddy Bree, 3 time gate pieces. Oh yeah, a slot 3 epic shiny, a potion of speed, and a potion of clairvoyance. Fantastic. Thank you, folks in chat. I saw multiple people do that. Appreciate it. So you can grab Caddy Bree and somebody else right now. In game, no matter what platform you're on. I think should be no matter what platform you're on. Now here's the thing. Occasionally, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms gets a promotional package on certain platforms, only for those platforms, and wins are Thursday, starting Thursday, June 22nd. The Legends of Mithral Hall, these 5 champions, are going to be available for free on the Epic Games Store. So if you play on Epic, you're going to get all 5 champions and a bunch of gear and a skin and a familiar. No, it's not available on any other platform. No, you can't transfer your accounts. It's a thing for Epic. I'm going to tell you these giveaways are great. But trust me, there are going to be ways, like I said, there's already been a way to get Caddy Bree everywhere. They're going to feed you a lot of time gate pieces early on. You'll be able to grab all the champions, don't worry. And we'll get a lot of new people coming to the game, which is always wonderful. All right, so the way they do the rewards, as you can see, there's a rewards track. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. You can get permanent item levels, and when it says like 25 item levels, it means per item. So that's actually with 6 items, 150 item levels, and this is 300, right? These are permanent item levels. That's fantastic, right? You get more time gate pieces. they give you buffs that last for the whole season. So along with the buff track up here that we'll talk about, you can also unlock buffs. So increase the damage of all champions by 200%. So triple damage bonus right off the bat. They'll give you buffs for things. These are specifically for the champions, but on the free-to-play path, it's probably going to be a little more generic. There's going to be chests. There's season chests. This will drop gear for any of the 5 champions. They're giving you gems, so you can buy whatever you want from the gem store. In the paid path, we're going to see some feats that are specific to each of these champions. Let's see what else we got. The paid path again is going to have skins. Folks, Mythic Wolfgar and Mythic Artemis. I don't even really use Artemis, but I gotta have that Mythic Artemis skin. They're real good. There's gonna be in the free to play path. There's gonna be a skin for click damage. So like when you click over here, like right now I have a skin for snowballs, but here's like green flame. Here's the original default with the orange flame. There's water, right? There's going to be one that's Gaarawarr's paw. So it's just the cat. Gaarawarr the cat from the stories. Just the paw batting at things. Because sure, why not? Why not? Here's that mythic. Here's that mythic Artemis skin. On the paid path, there's also a potion of polish. Lots of chests. All kinds of chests. The paid path's going to have Modron component chests. Lots and lots of rewards, folks. Lots and lots of rewards as I scroll through here. You can preview all these yourself. You're going to get the Mythic Gaarawarr familiar. That's not a skin. That's an actual new familiar. And this is going to go all the way. Scales of Tiamat on the paid path. This is going to all the way up to level 60. Right? So level 60, there's going to be a golden epic for Pwent, for his Gutbusters recruit, which is fantastic. Paid path, we're going to see their first ever DPS pigments introduced to the game. And a mythic Pwent skin that's real golden, right? So you can go up 60 levels now because they changed. It used to be you went to like level 30, but then you'd push up to into the 40s if you were doing everything, 40s or 50s. Well, now 60 is the base. They've doubled the amount of quest experience purportedly, so that you can get to 60 easily. And then when you go past, if you go past 60, more rewards. More rewards. Now, the free-to-play is going to be fewer rewards. The pay-to-play is going to be more, right? You're still going to get pretty much every level on the pay-to-play path. Free-to-play, not so much. But it's going to go all the way up to 120. 120. So for people who actually put in the effort and do and make sure to do all the quests, and if you're going to get up to 119, you're going to get rewards on the free-to-play path. If you have the season pass, you're going to end up with some marvelous support pigments, lots of chests for everybody, lots of item levels for everybody. Okay. In terms of buffs, the buffs go up to level 59. They start at level 3 this time instead of right away. So level 3 and then every other level after that, you're going to start getting buffs. These are permanent buffs. They last the entire season. When I say last the entire season, I just realized I didn't tell you how long a season lasts. 10 weeks, folks. So 70 days of buffage. If you unlock this, like on the first day or two, you're going to get this bonus all season long. Obviously, it's going to take a while to get all the way to the end. But these may look like small bonuses. They're all going to multiply against each other. It's going to be nice big buffs by the end of the season. And as I always say, and as you know, I like big buffs, and I cannot lie. All right, so that's how the season overall works. Let's talk about the champions and how they work real quick. So each of these champions got reworked. Wolfgar here is the tank for the Companions of the Hall and for the Legends of Mithral Hall. Regis and Pwent are pure support champions. Catti is a support and/or DPS champion, and Artemis pure DPS. Again, Artemis did not get a lot of changes. In fact, they only got one. that we're going to speak of, and then they got like a feat or a couple of feats. They're going to get some feats during the season. So here's kind of what changed up here at the top. You will now see on all champions a crit chance indicator and a crit damage indicator. That's because this season they put crit everywhere. They crit all over the place. Every champion and every enemy in the game now has a base crit chance of 2.5% with a base crit damage of 100%. These are new modifiers they can mess with for new champions, but also new enemies. So when you crit, you do bonus damage. Now Artemis starts off 2.5% crit chance, and he'll do double damage if he crits. Now he has new feats. That he starts off with a default feat that's going to increase his crit chance by 5%. And he's going to get some more feats. Here's another one that's 10% during the season. He also has a vicious damage feat that increases damage by 400%. That's the biggest damage increase you can get for Artemis. And any enemy he attacks is not going to heal for 10 seconds. So this is huge on certain bosses that heal, like Strahd, right? So yeah, that's basically what he gets. Artemis gets some bonus crit feats, and another bonus damage feat. They didn't touch him other than doing what they did with everyone and giving him some crit chance. That's it. That's Artemis, folks. That's all we're talking about. Because if you want to know how to play Artemis, I've covered that in a Gaarawarr's Guide tutorial show before. You can find it on YouTube. All right. Let's talk about everyone else, because everyone else got a lot more. Let's start with Wulfgar. Wulfgar, son of Beornagar, adopted son of Brunor Battlehammer. As you can see, 20% crit chance. So Wulfgar's a little bit higher on the crit, and that's because he got a new passive ability. That's what these level 0s are referred to. Critical hit and Citizen of Icewind Dale. So Wulfgar's base chance to critical hit is 20%, and his crits also stun all affected enemies for 5 seconds. Wulfgar smashes the nearest group of enemies with his Warhammer, so AoE stun for 5 seconds off of Wulfgar. Not bad. Additionally, Wulfgar can be used in any Icewind Dale campaign adventure or variant. Even if he would not normally be available to be used due to variant or patron restrictions. So that means you want to rock Wulfgar in his homeland of Icewind Dale, where he hails from, you can, no matter what. Okay? Wulfgar goes anywhere he wants in Icewind Dale. All right, King of the Elk Tribe is the max health for tanks. That's in the health share for people. That's pretty standard, but his abilities got slightly tweaked. So Clan Geddon's Will, anytime an enemy is stunned, Wulfgar increases the damage of all champions in the formation by 50%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it stacks multiplicatively. That's the good way. Capping at 50 stacks. So that's 50% at the base to the power of 50. And it lasts for the entire area. So that means that early on, you're not going to see Clan Geddon's Will giving you much of a bonus. But as it starts to get harder and harder to progress, you're going to start stacking this up more and more. And that multiplicative nature of the bonus is going to give you some serious boosts towards the ends of your run. Okay. And remember, Wulfgar stuns in an AoE. So he'll add multiple to these stacks every time he hits a group. Dumathoin's Will. If Wulfgar stuns a boss, he gains temp HP based on the boss's percent health remaining. It's the most when they have the most health. And that's, we haven't really stunned a boss yet, but that's the overshields that you'll see, the yellow that comes up. That's a temp HP shield. So he is a shielder. It only happens on bosses, but here's the thing. If he triggers it on a boss, but then doesn't take any damage, he keeps it until he takes enough damage to lose it. So, yay. Right? That is some survivability he can carry, but once it's gone, he doesn't get to add any more to it until he comes up on another boss. Hammer of the Hall, this is their kind of Companions of the Hall affiliation bonus. Your formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stack. Wolfgar increases the damage bonus of Clan Geddon's Will by 100% for each Mithral Hall stack you have, stacking multiplicatively. So, each Companion of the Hall and one of their friends, we'll get to that, will grant 1 Mithral Hall stack. So you don't get the multiplicative bonuses until you have a couple of them in. However, they do get feats in the season that add either 1 or 2 Mithral Hall stacks without having anyone else. So with the feats, you'll be able to trigger these multiplicative bonuses. And again, multiplicative's the good way. Those are the bonuses we like. Those are the bonuses we like. Okay, so these are actually going to be fantastic feats for Wolfgar, especially if you're using him without any of his companions. But when you do, they all get these feats. You can stack up a lot of Mithral Hall stacks, and each companion of the hall is going to have their own bonus based off Mithral Hall stacks. So Mithral Hall stacks and their feats going to be a big deal this season and into the future. Smash and Grab. If Wolfgar attacks an armor-based enemy but doesn't remove a piece of the armor, which is highly likely because remember, he's tank support, not DPS. So when you're dealing with armored enemies closer to your wall, he's just going to hit them but not take anything off. When that happens, he increases the damage of all champions of the formation by 200%, stacking multiplicatively, but only up to 5 times. Still, 5, it's basically 3x to the 5th, right? Like, yes, please. That's a lot of damage. So he's going to help you try to chew through that armor. He's going to help your primary DPS chew through that armor. It'll raise your bud. Hopefully, if you have any bud-based stuff going on, hopefully that'll chew through the armor as well. So Wolfgar set up to be an armor destroyer for your party, right? To boost you up so you can destroy that armor. Stacks reset on the area change, but you get that bonus when you need it. All right, 3 specializations instead of the former 2. So we have Heavy Blows and Flag Bearer, which you've seen before. Mordin's Will used to be an ability. It's now a specialization. So Heavy Blows additively increases all champions' critical hit chances by 10%. So if what you want is more crits, Wolfgar can give everyone in your party 10% more crits. This is maybe not a big deal for general usage, but with some of the champions we're going to talk about today, who have effects based off crits, who get boosts based off crits, this could be a big deal. Also, it just helps Wolfgar crit more. And remember, when he crits, he stuns, and when he stuns, he gets a multiplicative stack. So, could be a good way to go, right? It's a solid option. Flag Bearer is going to increase the effect of Clan Geddon's Will by 100%, so it's just going to double the effect. But only half of the stacks are lost on the area change. Now, Clan Geddon's Will is that multiplicative stacking bonus from the stuns that stack up to 50. So if you get it up to 50, instead of going to 0 at the next level, you cruise in at 25. You get to that max damage bonus faster. It's a choice you can make, right? So do you want smoother, more consistent damage? Do you want to rely more on crits? These are choices that you get to make with the first 2 options. Again, this one probably better if you've got some crit-based champions in the formation. But this one could be solid if you just want to rely on Wolfgar. Mordin's Will is the Companion of the Hall, basically specialization. So if you're running companions, or you're doing Icewind Dale, remember, Wolfgar goes everywhere in Icewind Dale. This is for you. It increases the damage of the Companions of the Hall by 100%, and all of the Companions of the Hall champions are available to be used if Icewind Dale is the current campaign, even if they don't currently qualify. So that means Wolfgar can go anywhere in Icewind Dale, and if you choose this specialization, he can take all of the companions with him. So this is a way to have a steady, reliable team to do all of the Icewind Dale content if you want it. I'm going to go more crit chance because I like it. Because I like it. Because we're going to be talking about other people's crits. I am going to have to remember to take off 10 from everybody else when I talk about him, though. Probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. All right, that's going to be everything for Wolfgar. His items that focus on abilities now focus on Clangeddon's Will and Smash and Grab. Again, these are the multiplicatively stacking. This is the multiplicatively stacking bonus, and this is the armor one. So the amount of damage that you get now, the damage boost you get from not taking an armor chunk off, it gets even bigger. Let's go take a look real quick. So Clangeddon's Will starts off just with 1 stack as an E10 bonus. And if we go down to Smash and Grab, 200% stacking multiplicatively, and it's going to have a bonus that comes off the item after that. It's a post-stack bonus. Feat-wise, I don't think Wolfgar really got extras. Some of his feats changed to go with Clangeddon's Will. So he's got Clangeddon's Will feats. He didn't used to have a lot of feats, and he used to also have self-damage feats because in the early days he was a DPS. So now there's a Smash and Grab feat and then the Mithral Hall stack. So really, once you get into this is going to be specific to armored enemies, and this will be just, to ramp up those Mithral Hall bonuses. But the Clangeddon stuff is the main focus, and then some, health probably, because he doesn't really have any other survivability things other than he can crit stun things, and he's got that shield off tanks. Or off bosses, right? Let's talk about Regis. Regis now has healing support and gold find roles. Regis is now the home of gold find for the Companions of the Hall. No one else has any gold find anymore. Everybody used to have a little bit of Bounty of the Hall gold find bonus. Nah. Regis has it all. Regis has it all. Regis's base attack used to be like 7.5 seconds, and now it's down to like 3.5. It's a little under here for some reasons. He starts off with a 20% crit chance. That's his passive. Remember, I've currently got Wolfgar boosting that up a bit. Regis buffs primarily based off his specialization choices. He can encourage people either ahead of or behind him, so it's really just where you don't put him in the same column as your buffer. You just choose ahead or behind. That's the way it works. That's the way it's kind of always worked. And then he chooses to make enemies weak to either ranged melee or magical attacks. So you pick your selection based off who you're using as your DPS. I'm going to say Caddy Breeze my DPS here and go ranged. There's nothing there for click damage. He's all about boosting people in the formation. Those are things that just have not changed about Regis. That's the way Regis always worked, to be clear. The crit hit is the change to Regis. Bounty of the Hall, remember we talked about this before. This used to be a Companions of the Hall ability. Now it's specifically for Regis. Your formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stack. Regis increases your gold find bonus by 100% for each Mithral Hall stack you have, stacking multiplicatively. So the more stacks you get in the party, multiplicative bonuses for gold find. So Regis with a lot of companions or just with a lot of Mithral Hall stacks on his own, because he's going to have those feats too. There they are. Can give you a gold find boost. Ruby healing. Regis used to be the worst healer in the game. Now, I'm not going to go out and say that Regis is now the best healer in the game. I'm not even going to say he's adequate. What I'm going to say is he's a lot better than he used to be. Because it used to be that for Regis to heal, your party had to be attacked for the first time. Well, I don't know about you folks, but when your party gets attacked for the first time, you're not really in need of healing yet. Really? Not really. Right? It's after they've been attacked a lot that you need healing. Well, Regis was not a good healer. Well, now he is. When Regis scores a critical hit, his Ruby Pendant pulses and heals all champions in the formation for an amount for each Mithral Hall stack the formation has. So once again, his heals like his gold find are going to be based off Mithral Hall stacks. So if you, I know this number 10, this is a base, but it gets modified by stuff. We got an item over here that you can boost it with. So yeah, it goes up. But it's also for each stack in the formation. So his heals are a lot better now when you have Mithral Hall stacks. That's the way I'm going to say it. Ruby Amplification. This increases the effect of Ruby Encouragement by 500% when Regis scores a crit hit. It can stack up to 15 times, and it does so multiplicatively. So again, Regis, Likes those crits. Likes those crits. This resets on area change, but that's a big deal. And there's an item for that, folks. So stacking multipliers with item support's always nice, even if it's a post stack, which I believe it is. Other items, we'll go ahead and get these out of the way. The Ruby Encouragement and Ruby Weakness, those are his big focuses, so he has items for those as well. The ultimate got changed a little bit, but let's talk about Ruby Invigoration first. Whenever a champion in the formation is critically hit by an enemy, remember, enemies can crit too. So whenever the formation gets crit, Regis stores up a charge of Ruby Invigoration. While he has at least one charge, his chance to critical hit is increased by 250%. That's multiplicatively, not additively. I want to be clear. Because if it was additively, then his crit chance would go over 100%, which is a thing in this game we'll get to, but that's not. I don't believe that's what's going on. It should be 250% multiplicatively. So he boosts his crit hit chance. The reason being, if he sees his party get crit, they took damage, he wants to try to heal them, because remember, he heals off crits. So that's what they're doing here. They're giving you a way to kind of guarantee that he's gonna heal when you're taking critical damage. He can store up to 5 charges. So that's what is going on. His ultimate changed a little bit. It used to be that when you hit the ultimate, it slowed everyone. So now it damages all enemies and stuns them for 5 seconds. So you get a screen-wide stun with Regis now. Fantastic. Now remember, Wolfgar likes it when stuns happen. So yeah, this feeds into that. It also feeds into some other champions in the game who like crowd control effects, like Lucius. So keep that in mind. And then Ruby Encouragement gets boosted by 200% for 15 seconds. So it is a do more damage button. Oh, also Wolfgar's ultimate is the same. It just deals damage and stuns all enemies in a line. So lots of stuns with the ultimates. Feat wise, he has a lot of feats that we saw before. His healing feats now matter, right? He has Ruby healing feats. This one needs to be changed to the plus symbol, but he's got a lot of Ruby healing up to 60%. Those actually matter now. And then again, you can increase just his crit chance. And then you get the Mithral Hall stack. So lots of ways to make sure Regis is doing what he needs to do. All right, let's talk about Puent. Me king. That's Puent is not the king. That's what Puent says. Thibbledorf Puent. 2.5%. Remember, we've got Wolfgar in here adding 10. 2.5% crit chance, 100% crit damage. Puent's basic attack is Spiked Hug, which basically is he runs up and rams an enemy, and his armor hurts them. That's the way he's always been. And his ultimate is called Round 'em Up. He basically runs around, grabs all the enemies in the room, and then brings them to a single point in the middle. We can't really demonstrate right now. It stuns them, does damage, and causes them to bleed. Now, the bleed is the important part of Puent's kit. His passive is now the bleed. So whenever he causes an enemy to bleed, they take a half a second worth of bud damage every second for the next 20 seconds. So he adds a bud-based dot. Those are the good dots. There are regular damage-based dots in this game, and they're just like, eh. Bud-based dots, though, that's the good stuff. So Puent now is a bud-based dot that lasts for 20 seconds. While an enemy's bleeding, attacks that target that enemy have a 20% higher chance to critical hit additively. So everyone that's bleeding, if they're bleeding, if they get attacked, just go ahead and add 20%. It's kind of invisible, but you just know that your bonus is your damage. Like Puent's actually sitting at 32.5% against a bleeding enemy. So that's a solid boost just passively to the party. If Puent attacks an enemy that is already bleeding, the duration is reset. So some of Puent's buffs have the same name, but they got slightly changed. Can you smell that? Used to be he used to slow down the attack speed of adjacent champions. And then he had a buff that buffed damage based off the slow. Now it's just increases the damage of champions not adjacent to Puent. So basically, Puent smells, folks. Puent gives off an odor. Look, that armor does not come off. He puts it on. There's no getting it off. That means showers aren't really a thing. He smells. Buffs non-adjacent champions. So that means you don't want to put him adjacent to your DPS. Yeah. Battle Rager. When Pwent attacks, if he attacks an enemy who's already been affected by his bleed effect, not only does that extend the duration, like we saw in the bleed passive, but there's an 80% chance that his attack cooldown will instantly reset, which means 80% of the time, Pwent attacks again 100% of the time. So basically, it's just going to help you spread that bleed to more people. Gutbuster Recruits. This is this is one of the new items supports you get. Can you smell that for item support and Gutbuster Recruits for item support? Gutbuster Recruits is the big thing. So when a champion adjacent to Pwent scores a crit, so this means you do want Pwent adjacent to lots of champions. You just don't want them adjacent to the DPS. Whenever he scores a crit, he increases the effect of Can You Smell That by an amount. This can multiplicatively stack up to 50 times. Folks, they did it the good way for like so many things in these reworks. So multiplicatively stacking, but again with stacks being reset on an area change. Okay. So specializations. We actually get some pretty functional specializations this time around, based off what you're trying to do with your formation. So, Recruiting Drive, Gutbuster Recruit now triggers when non-adjacent champions score critical hits instead of adjacent champions. So if your formation layout doesn't lend itself to giving a lot of adjacencies, remember max adjacency you can have for Pwent would be 6 in the middle of some formation like this, right? But you could put Pwent all the way back here. In a formation that had, like, say, well, in this one it's still 6, but in like a 10-person formation where there's maybe only one person adjacent to them and then everyone else is up here, you could end up with 8 people contributing to crits, right? So depending on the formation layout, you go Recruiting Drive to get more people critting for faster stacking of Gutbuster Recruits, okay? Sense of Mithral Hall. This increases the effect of Can You Smell That by 200% for each dwarf champion in the formation. It stacks multiplicatively and includes Pwent himself. So if you have at least 2 dwarfs in your party, well, there's a 200% multiplicative bonus times 2. So that's going to be, what, a 500% overall bonus? So 6x multiplier. No, 9. It's multiplicative stacking. 800% bonus, 9x multiplier. Yeah. 200% means 3x, and then 3x times 3x is 9x. That's how you figure this out, folks. So if you have at least 2, this is a lot of damage. If you have more, gets even better, right? And Critical Wound. So attacks targeting enemies that Pwent has caused to bleed now have a 40% additive chance to be crit hit, up from 20. So remember, normally he gives everybody an extra 20% boost. With this, he can make it 40. All crits, all the time. We're going to go over there. We're going to go over there. All right. So this does change some of Pwent's synergies. I just saw a comment on chat on that. Pwent used to synergize with, say, like Binwin and Barrowin, who have attack speed related stuff. That's not a thing anymore. Not a thing anymore, but does synergize with them because they're both dwarves. That's a thing. That multiplicative spec choice in the middle, that's a thing. All right. Brunormy King. I'm so happy they left this ability in. While not a member of the Companions of the Hall, because he's not. No affiliation. Okay. He's a legend of Mithral Hall, but not a member of the Companions of the Hall. Pwent fully supports them in their quests. He's actually Brunar's Kingsguard. Did you know that? Your formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stack. So he can contribute to the Mithral Hall stacks, even though he's not a Companions of the Hall. Pwent increases damage bonus of Can You Spell That by 100% for each Mithral Hall stack you have, stacking multiplicatively. Once again, I keep saying it over and over again. That's the good way. We like abilities that stack multiplicatively with large bonuses, especially if they have item support. It's OP when that item support is pre-stack. I don't think any of these reworked champions get a pre-stack bonus. Artemis already has a pre-stack multiplicative bonus. It's why he's considered the strongest end-game DPS. But we get multiplicative bonuses. We just don't get them pre-stack with these reworks. So feats, there's Gut-Busted Recruits. There's Can You Smell That? Obviously, that's where we want to go with this. There is a 50% bonus to the bleed ability, but I want to be clear. I clarified this with the devs. It only increases the bud damage. It doesn't increase the crit chance. So the bud damage would go from a half a second of bud every second for 20 seconds to 0.75 seconds of bud. If you want the dot to do more damage, though, that's going to do it. Because remember, if you have enough bud damage, this is... Well, if you have enough bud damage, this could chew through armor. It could. Because it's a bud-based dot. And then Mithral Hall stack bonuses, folks. All right, on to Caddy Brie. I'm trying to get through these quick because I also want to talk about the 3 that got slight changes but aren't part of this. All right, Caddy Brie, one of my longtime favorite DPSs. I think right away you're going to notice something a little different about Caddy Brie's crit chance and crit damage. She's always been like this, folks. This has always been the core of Caddy Brie's kit. Caddy Brie was the queen of crits. Has always been, now continues to be. It has always been a function of Caddy Brie was once upon a time was the only person that crit, and her ultimate shared that, allowed everyone in the party to crit for its duration. Things have changed, but she still keeps the outrageous numbers that she used to have. What does this mean? Crit chance of over 100% and outrageous crit damage. Well, crit damage obviously is pretty straightforward. If it's 100%, it's doubling the damage, right? So you just take whatever crit damage, you 100%, you come up with a new total, right? Well, this just means you're doing way more damage than everyone else on a crit. Remember, Caddy Brie can be DPS. The crit chance, when you go over 100%, this isn't listed in your kit, but I did talk to the devs again. It still works like it used to. When you have crit over 100% chance, it creates a multiplier. Not only is it guaranteed to crit on every attack, which first of all, that's the big bonus. It creates a multiplier against your crit damage multiplier. And it used to show up, they've changed the way crit damage functions, but it used to show up in golden letters and then when it crit, and then there'd be like a 2x or a 3x or a 4x as your crit went up. That was the multiplier against what was already a multiplier for damage. So higher than 100% multiplier, more multipliers on the boosted damage. So Caddy Brie can get ridiculous. And how does it get this high? She's got items for that. Here's the crit chance item, and here's the crit damage item. So when you get high level items, these numbers get ridiculous. I think when I level her all the way up here, it's going to be close to 1,000% crit chance. Okay. We'll take a look at it again. Caddy Brie shoots the furthest enemy with her bow, and the thing that it's leaving off here is it hits everyone in a line to that enemy now. So Zorbu? What? It's kind of like Zorbu, except Zorbu shoots a random enemy and hits anything in a line. She shoots the furthest enemy and hits everything in a line. So now when things are stacking up on your party and she's attacking the stuff in the back, it's going to hit everything, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic bonus because remember, she's going to crit them all. She's going to crit all over them. Her ultimate is now Empty the Quiver. She shoots 6 arrows at once from a bow. That's how it always worked. Each enemy hit by her arrows have a higher chance of being crit and take more crit damage. That higher chance is based on her crit chance and damage. Boss Killer says what? Look, when her ultimate pretty much just nukes a boss because suddenly everyone in your party has this crit chance and is doing this crit damage. I always loved her ultimate, but I love it even more now. So yeah, that's still in the game. She starts out with a base chance of 20%, which is like, sure. When you don't have item support as a newer player, yeah, you're going to like all these bonuses. But once you have item support, and you're not really going to worry about boosting her crit stuff, I mean, it's nice. It's a multiplicative bonus and not additive at times. So yeah. Powerful draw. Caddy Bree deals additional damage to enemies the further they are away from the formation. This has always been the case. So, she does the most damage to things that are over on the right-hand side of the screen. Mark for death. Enemies hit by Caddy Bree's arrows are marked and take additional damage equal to Caddy Bree's crit hit damage bonus until the enemy is defeated. Her crit hit damage bonus is this. And it can go up. So this is a debuff on enemies when she hits them. And remember, she hits everything in a line now. Grievous Runes. When an enemy that is marked is critically hit by any champion, they're stunned for 5 seconds. Wolfgar likes that. And the damage bonus of their mark is increased by 100%. So that's this damage bonus. And it doubles, right? But the effect can only occur every 10 seconds. And the damage bonus increase can stack multiplicatively up to 10 times. What? So they're going to take this. And the more you hit that marked champion, the more damage they're going to take. Caddy Bree boss killer. Not even her. It doesn't even have to be her. Because it's hit by any champion. Caddy Bree's a big deal, folks. Push forward. Caddy Bree increases the damage of herself and all champions in front of her. So there's a formation placement cue. We haven't seen a lot of that. So this just means if she's supporting, you want her behind your DPS. Okay. Otherwise, she can be, if she's her DPS, she can be anywhere. So all champions in front of her in the formation by 50% each time she gets a crit. Folks, she can have guaranteed crits. So, yay. Stacking multiplicatively up to 25 times and resetting when she changes areas. So, yeah, multiplicative damage bonuses as a buff? Sure. Offer crits? Yes, please. Yes, please. All right, spec choices. Piercing Arrow, Big Push, or Critical Family. Piercing Arrow, Caddy Bree's damage is increased by 400%. This is her DPS spec. It could also potentially be a support spec for the next part. Her arrows hit all enemies on their way to their target. That's how you get the line. My bad. I forgot. It's not base. It's the spec choice. So you want to hit everything, you do this. This is why I think you go Piercing Arrow, honestly, all the time. It's at DPS or support. Yes, it's her DPS spec, but the arrow's hitting all the enemies on their way to the target, with every enemy having a separate chance of being crit. Yes. Yes. I think this is just it. This is the thing. Big Push increases the base effect to push forward to 60% per stack. Caddy Bree only loses half of her existing stacks when changing areas instead of all the time. Sure, if you want a little more consistent damage, but again, I still think we go over here. And then Critical Family additively increases the crit hit chance of all companions of the hall. Not all champions, just companions. 20%. Again, Piercing Arrow. Piercing Arrow, so you get the Zorbu. So she turns into Mini Zorbu. Please. Please. I shouldn't say Mini Zorbu. She's taller than Zorbu. What am I talking about? Mark of the Hall. Here's her Companion's Affiliation bonus. Your formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stat. Caddy Bree increases the damage bonus of Mark for Death by 100% for each Mithral Hall stack. Now remember, Mark for Death is the multiplicatively stacking one based off her crit damage. So, sure. Sure. C&E's just like, let's make Caddy Bree super strong. I'm here for it. Increase the damage of all champions item now. She doesn't have a self-damage item. It's just this. Then she gets 4 support items. Push forward, her crit chance, her crit damage, and Mark for Death. And then reduce the cooldown on her ultimate. Look, all of Caddy Bree's items are fantastic. Because you want the ultimate up as much as possible, right? So push forward. I've got that. I've got crit chance. Look, she has Cataclysmic Strike. Increases the crit damage of Caddy Bree by 60%. Now, I did say, look, she's got a lot of crit, but watch this. 1688. This is not an additive. This is not an additive bonus. This is multiplicative. That's what takes it up to 2701. So yes, please. Same with the 10%. It says additive, folks, but that did not change from 650 to 660. This went from 497 to 663. I don't know if that's going to get changed, but right now, yes, please. Yes, please. So yeah, her feats are fantastic. She already had some solid feats for DPS. She was already a really solid DPS before this. Now I think she's even better. Mark for Death. It doesn't show her, for whatever reason, it doesn't show her season feats, but she's going to get Mithral Hall stack feats. during the season as well. Did I do it? I did all of them. Okay, we're at the hour, but I want to talk about the rest of the people who got some changes. So here's Brunner Battlehammer, King of Mithral Hall, leader of the companions. Yes, I said that. You heard that right. Dritz Do'Urden, not the leader of the companions, but probably the most famous member. And Jarlaxle Baneray, early antagonist like Artemis, later friend of the companions of the hall. They all got some slight changes in this update. They're not featured in the season, so you're not going to see anything about them in the season. But they were modified with the kind of the new stuff going on with crits. But Brunor and Jarlaxle are core champions. Dritz is an evergreen. Their current thinking is they're not really going to do reworks around seasons around core evergreen champions. But they may make minor changes. So Brunor 2.5%, 100%. Nothing really changes there. What changed is his. We go down. Where is it? King of the Hall. So your formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stack. A Brunor increases the effective rally by 100% for each Mithral Hall stack you have, stacking multiplicatively. So Brunor rally is the big buff anyway. And now if you've got Mithral Hall stacks, even better, right? Even better. He doesn't have any feats for the Mithral Hall stacks because he's not part of the season, but could be a thing they add in the future. That's the change to Brunor. Jarlaxle, 20%, gets a passive for 20% crit hit chance. So Jarlaxle as your starter DPS for brand new players, now even better, because now he's going to crit a lot. 1 in 5 chance to crit. That's solid. That's solid for bonus damage. Nothing else changed. He doesn't have anything about Mithral Hall stacks, unfortunately. Sure. He's more of a feature in Gauntlgrim than Mithral Hall. And then Dritz Do'Urden actually got buffed. Got a pretty solid buff. Even though he's not part of the season. He got a solid buff. Gets a passive for 20% crit chance. Here's the thing. If we go down here, he gets the Companions of the Hall now. Its formation gains 1 Mithral Hall stack. Increase Dritz damage by 400% for each Mithral Hall stack you have, stacking multiplicatively. So again, with a Companions of the Hall team, potentially large, multiplicatively stacking buffs based off your Mithral Hall stacks. That's one way he got more damage. Spec choices changed. They're no longer gold finder damage. You increase Dritz damage by 200% for each Companions of the Hall champion in the formation. So leader of the Companions. He's not the leader. Not the leader of the Companions. Ugh, gets me every time. Or a Drow Stalker, increase Dritz damage by 200% for each Drow champion in the formation. So if you're building around Drow, he gets damage that way. So we'd go here. The other way Dritz got a damage boost here is kind of invisibly, unless you know what to look for. As you're leveling Dritz up, you see here, increase the damage of Dritz, increase the damage of Dritz. See this 300% one? If you scroll through and you look at Dritz damage bonuses now, you'll see 300%. You'll see 300% 10 times in his upgrade list. Those used to be 100% modifiers. So he got a lot more just base damage added to his kit from upgrades. He got 10 of them that went from a double to a quadruple in different places. And remember, everything else scales off that. So he got a lot more damage. I was running him yesterday, with a group, and he was throwing up solid numbers. E400 Bud with a companions, Legend of Mithral Hall / Companions of the Hall formation, without even lots of Mithral Hall stacks from the feats. So Dritz got a solid buff. Congratulations to everybody that unlocked Dritz and wanted to do damage with Dritz. There's never been a better time to do damage with Dritz. All right, folks, we're going to take a short break, a little musical interlude while I drink some water. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer all your questions. Remember, if you have a question, put question : in front of it in chat, and that way Jordan will grab it. It looks like Moobot is working again, so you can code command things if you need that too. The song we're going to listen to at the break is for Caddy Bree. She's a knockout.
When I first saw her, she was breaking some bones off her hair, and fists making stone, busting heads all on her own. Whoa, whoa. You better run if she's coming for you. Heart seeker always shoots through. Look out, Caddy Bree's coming through. She's a knockout, gonna knock you out. Leaving no doubt, that's what she's all about. Going on, she'll make you scream and shout. She's a knockout who just knocked you out. Human born, open breath. You might just crack your head. Not a mouse, she is fed. Oh, oh. From the hall to the brawl, she's a fierce defender of all windows danger. She's the call. She's the call. Whoa. She's a knockout, gonna knock you out. Leaving no doubt, gonna sing about. She's going out to make you scream and shout. You out. Evil rising up, blocking our path. We're the companions, can't feel our wrath. Fire and arrow, and our number. You can run. There's no cover. What she's all about. Going all out, she'll make you scream and shout. She's a knockout, just knock you out. Yeah, she's a knockout, just knocked you out.
Yay, Caddy Bree. Shout out, I forgot to point this out, to the Summer of Legends right now giveaway, folks. Every day you log in, you can grab a new chest, a summer chest. Summer chests, some aren't. If you get 4 of them, you get stuff for Bruner. I have a feeling this is going to be called the Mythic Bruner skin. And look, there's a Mithral Hall stack feat. The thing that he didn't get in the season. He'll get from this. So there's 4 days left if you weren't able to claim. Well, you can claim one right now if you're listening to this live. But try to grab 4. I'll get one in about 2 hours, and I'll be able to get my Mythic Bruner skin. Although, to be honest, Pirate Bruner, only Bruner. Look, this is the problem with skins that they add to this game. Whenever they add a pirate skin to a champion, I'm like, oh, that's their default skin now. Like with Jarlaxle. So it's a little dangerous for them to, they make some really nice skins for the game, but I get fixated on certain ones. Like this is not. I mean, this is neat, but it's gonna be the new Wolfgar. I almost called it by the name we can't say on this stream. Skin. Once I get that, I mean, come on. Yeah, and I've never bought Artemis skins, so. Oh, Caddy Bree's got multiple though. Caddy Bree's got an outfit closet. What do we want? Yeah, no, always special guest star. It's in the cartoon, D&D cartoon style. All right, I'm going to hit up all the questions. Let's do the ones that are on topic first. Lazy Cat. Regarding Caddy Bree's specialization. I understand. Well, okay. If we're regarding Caddy Bree's last specialization, let's bring it up. Boom. I understand when I would pick the right-hand choice. Critical family. Crit chance for companions of the hall. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Please compare and contrast when I would choose the left-hand and middle choices. We did this, but we'll do it again. If you treat me like I'm a young child, that's fine, because I've read them like 5 times and it's not sinking in. Look, I get it. Sometimes I spent, in a whole other game last night, I spent hours with someone in Discord, thanks to them, to try to understand something that they clearly understood and it did not. It happens. All right, so again, let's do this in reverse order. Critical family. This is, if you're running Companions of the Hall and you want their crit chance, if that's what you want, is for them to crit a lot, you can go this. Honestly, because she can cause everyone to crit off her crit chance with her ultimate, I'm not so enthused about this. But if you're newer and your item levels aren't that great, that crit chance isn't going to be that great, you might want to go critical family, right? These both feel like things you do when your crit chance is, like, this is when you're lower item level. Big push is just kind of consistent damage to push forward. You only lose half the stack, so it's a bigger bonus per stack, but it gives you more consistent damage when you start every level. I really love Piercing Arrow. I really think this is the way to go. Not just for her own DPS. If you are using her for DPS, this is definitely the way to go because she gets a 5x multiplier. But arrows hitting all enemies on their way to the target is a big deal because you're going to crit all of them. And remember, and she's going to mark all of them. And this was one of the biggest problems with Caddy Bree pre-rework, was that her mark for death did stack up. The number of marked for deaths on the screen was a bonus to people, but she only ever attacked the furthest enemy. And that could be a stationary boss. And thus she wouldn't get lots of mark for death stacks. So it made her not the greatest support. With Piercing Arrow, she's hitting everything in a line. So to me, it just makes it a kind of a no-brainer, just Piercing Arrow pretty much all the time. Yeah. This is about seasons. Matt's Bud. How much is a season pass, and what do you miss out on if you don't get it? Season passes are usually $10. And again, I'm not going to say miss out on, but what you don't have access to earn is everything on the bottom row, right? This is everything with here it's to me, let me say that clearly. To me, this is a purple background with a white lock. And to me, this is a red background with a white lock. The top path is free to play. The bottom path is the season pass. So everything you see on the bottom path won't be available if you're not dropping $10. And that's all the way through the bonus rewards too. But you'll get everything on the top path. You'll get all the buffs. And you'll get the favor. Yeah. The Lurking Rider. I have asked this, and I asked this yesterday. How can we help you to convince the devs to give Wolfgar and Caddy Bree new feats to let them qualify as dwarves? Folks, Caddy Bree and Wolfgar, adopted children of Brunner Battlehammer. Mars mentioning likes the other Legend of Dritz characters added to the game. Which ones do you think would make sense to be part of the game? Yeah. So I asked yesterday on Dev Insights, I was like, this seems like it would have been the best time to add feats to allow Caddy Bree and Wolfgar to count as dwarves. because we have canonically, again, they are considered part of the dwarven clan, because they're his children. But also, we have a feat in the game for Mehen, who has 2 adopted daughters who are tieflings. Mehen's a dragonborn. He has a feat that lets him count as a tiefling to fight alongside them. So yeah, they said, yeah, they thought it was a really good idea. It just, those feats weren't the priority feats for the season, so maybe we'll see them in the future. Yeah, it'd be great. We didn't get them, but maybe, you know, it seems like it could be an easy add in the future for them if they want to. Maybe in a future feat week. Now, as far as Legend of Drizzt characters added to the game, look, right now with Drizzt's Drow Stalker change, where it's based off other Drow in the party, to me that screams add his dad. If you don't know, you know, Drizzt's dad was the one who trained him to be an amazing fighter, then died. But if you don't know, he's alive. He's alive now because books, right? And they fight alongside each other. I just, that would be amazing, I think, in the game. Zach Nafane Doerden. I think that would be great. But I have always promoted adding more dwarfs from the Legend of Drizzt series, because I want a full dwarf party. I want Athrogate with Clacker and Whacker. I want Fist and Fury, the twin queens of Gauntlgrim. That's right. Brunor married twins. Yeah, give me more, lots, but you know, dwarves. You know, Legend of Drizzt adjacent. Pikel and Ivan Bouldershoulder, the Bouldershoulder brothers. Absolutely. Sure. All that. All the dwarves. If it's a dwarf, if they're a dwarf, I probably want them in the game. I made my computer angry, sorry. Imaginal Disc. Last season, some of the dailies were complete X, and then if you didn't reset the adventure before new dailies refresh, you didn't get credit. Is that still a thing? I don't know. Season hasn't started yet. I'm not a developer for the game, so I don't know anything of what they've done or what they've changed or what they've fixed, but, you know, they've been iterating on the quests every season, and last season I thought they did an amazing job overall. Were there still some dailies that I was like, yes. Do I hope they've iterated and improved that system even more? Yeah. But last season, I thought they were at the point where I thought overall with numbers, I know some people had some complaints about things, but again, on a new player account where I wasn't even trying, I did almost everything passively. I think it's in a very healthy place. I would just, you know, some quality of life stuff and some bug fixes like that would be good. Jarathonus, do you start the season at level 1 or level 0? I believe you start at 0 and have to get your XP for 1. Dr. Zool, did they erase the daily quest to open a time gate from season 4? So here's the thing. What is supposed to be happening in season 4 with open a time gate is they had wanted it to be on a trigger, so it only showed up under certain circumstances. And it is my understanding that the trigger is supposed to be working correctly in season 4. What triggers? There's certain things that it's going to look for. If you, like me, own every champion, you should never see an open a time gate daily. And I believe it's up to, like, if you have over a certain number of champions, you shouldn't see it. We're going to need confirmation from the developers on what exactly that number is. You can ask them either in the Reddit Q&A that usually happens on Reddit. Wow. Or on Dev Insights, which is on Thursdays on this channel. Well, no, but you could try to maybe not harass Sean, but ask Sean politely if they can track down, or ask Mars. They have more direct access to Ask Dev's questions like that than I do. Emerald Clave, is it possible to get to level 120 by doing all the quests? That's what they've said, yes. All I have to go off of is what they've said so far, is that that based off the way they changed XP, you should be able to go all the way to the end if you do everything. Momo David, will crit hits impact the Bud? So I asked this on Dev Insights, and they said that Bud should be based off your critical damage. I don't know if that's currently working correctly. I haven't been able to do a lot of testing. I know, and like on day one when I was looking at it, it didn't look like it was. They say it's supposed to, which means if it is supposed to, and they make it so that it works, it should be a really, like, that's everyone's Bud should go up, at least double, right? But with Caddy Bree in your party, by a lot. So yeah, I feel like right now it's not working like it's supposed to. But they said that was the intention. So in that case, if you do some testing and you don't see it working, submit a ticket. Let them know that they said on Dev Insights it was supposed to set Bud, but you don't see it doing that. Strider X question: is Gutbuster pre-stack? It's my understanding is it's post-stack. Hold on. Somebody's gonna have to crit someone. Let me put him here. We'll see if we can get a crit. Yeah, post-stack bonuses, post-stack multipliers. Yeah. It's my understanding that out of this group, the only one that has pre-stack anything is still Artemis. But still, when you have multiplicative stacking, that's the good way, and when it has item support, that's fantastic. Even when it's post stack, it's still because it's multiplicative. That's the best kind of bonuses. Canellen, is Caddy's crit damage feat one of her best options since it seems to apply to the base effect before her slot 4 item applies? Yes. The crit stuff for Caddy applies before all those bonuses, and that's why we're seeing those. That's why when I showed earlier and it does those huge multipliers, it's because it affects the base part, and then the item comes in and just makes it even better. So, yeah, it's the crit stuff on Caddy is pretty solid. Oh, I forgot. We were going to look at what her crit chance is. Yeah, 663. I thought I had this up a lot higher yesterday. I must have been running something with everybody focused on crit damage. I had it up to around 1,000% crit chance. It was pretty ridiculous. I think I picked everybody's crit options, though, is what was going on. So that's a possibility if you're using support. Caddy is to pick everybody else pick the crit stuff and boost her damage up for her ultimate. Extralix, I just got the shiny epic elven dagger of ambush for Caddy Bree. It's a 400% increase in crit chance. Is that good or no? Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, again, those above 100% means you're getting more and more multipliers, which is more and more damage. Plus, again, she spreads that to everyone with her ultimate. Well, not to, sort of. She hits a target. If that target lives through the ultimate, which doesn't happen often in the testing so far, then everyone crits and does crit damage based off her bonuses. Canellen, have you compared Caddy's own crit chance when she's in right spec versus not? Since it seems to apply before the item, how useful do you think of me in using her support? Again, for me, I mean, if what you really want is just to boost crit chance for everyone with the ultimate, sure. I like the left spec because I want to crit more things. I want to spread that mark everywhere. Now, honestly, if you find that you're just fine spreading the mark slowly and to things, like, remember, it's only going to attack the furthest thing. To me, it's the line. I really think they should have just made the line her default base attack, because it makes that left spec just, for me, in my opinion, it makes that the most powerful spec. Play around with it. Again, play the game the way you want, and who knows, there's always scenarios where other things work better for what you're doing. Freeman, if crit works as a Bud-based, does that mean Bud-based attacks cannot crit? Otherwise, it would snowball. Correct. It is my understanding Bud-based attacks are just doing whatever number of seconds of Bud-based damage that are happening. because they're not really bud-based attacks. They're bud-based effects. No one has a bud-based attack. There are ultimates that are bud-based, or there are ability effects that add dots based off bud. But yeah, that stuff's all going to be based off just your bud amount, and the crits should just help you get the bud higher. Yeah, I don't know anybody that has a true bud-based attack. They just have effects that get added to their base attack that are based off bud, but the crit should just be affecting their base damage. Honda Hero, how does Caddy and crits in general work in an Artemis formation? I mean, Caddy Bree has a positional for push forward, right? So damage of herself and all champions in front of her. So she would want to go in the very back of an Artemis formation so that she can buff herself, and she's a DPS Artemis can observe, and any other DPS in the formations plus Artemis. That part works normally, and then crit is just, she's going to give a lot of crit. Now, her crit chances won't, I mean, it's going to matter for this kind of stuff, but it's when she fires off her ultimate that suddenly lots of damage can happen to whatever target, right? So it's similar. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. It's just the same kind of Artemis stuff as shenaniganry as before. Again, Artemis didn't change, so yeah. Jorathonis, is there a newsletter for today with a code? It is my understanding. I mean, I didn't get a newsletter for either of my accounts this week. No one else I know got a newsletter. It's my understanding that most likely what happened, I don't know, I haven't talked to CNE, is their newsletter bot broke. Because it didn't send anything out. And everybody seems to be talking about it. So, you know, maybe we'll get a newsletter on Monday. Because it's the weekend, folks. Ivy, the difficulty of missions are always the same, or does it depend on your level? The difficulty of things, as we see out here, this rating, is based off the amount of favor you have in that campaign. That's the only thing it's based off of. So the higher the favor, the easier it says it is. Now, here's the thing. Just because... Now, early on, it's a good indicator of whether somewhat good indicator of whether you can do like the base adventures, but not really, because when you start a new campaign, it's always going to say it's always going to be red and be super difficult. You just have to go do it anyway. But sometimes there are variants. Like I recommend never doing a variant. So these are the base adventures. These are the variants. They drop down underneath them. It is a variant. They have variant rules based off the main adventure. I recommend never, ever, ever doing a variant unless it shows as easy. And even then, some variants aren't going to be easy. Like Arya Chicken says difficulty easy. But if you have just enough favor to make it show as green and the others are like yellow and red, the restriction down here of chickens taking up 4 slots drains so much power from your party, you're still not going to be able to beat it. This is the first variant in the game, and it is a dare. They are daring you. They're going, are you chicken? Come on, do it. Come on, do it. Are you chicken? Don't take dares, folks. It's a trap. This is the worst, one of the worst variants in the game. So even if they show as easy, sometimes they're not easy. But the difficulty rating is purely just based off the amount of favor you have. There isn't really a way to, because there's so many paths to power in this game, there isn't a way to really base it off reality. Because yeah, you might have good blessings, good favor, good perks, a lot of champions. They don't know what champions you're going to build a formation with. They have no way to know that. And that's really how you know if you can beat any adventurer variant. All right, Imaginal Disc. I've been working on a Kron team. Okay. Caddy used to have a place in that team. Do you think she supports Kron better now with her changes or less so? I mean, she still qualifies for Kron. She's still got the same bonuses. I mean, she got an improvement. All of these champions got better. None of them got worse. There's an argument that Artemis should have got worse. But all of these champions got better. And Caddy Bree didn't change her ability to qualify for a cron party. She's still got a strength feat that lets her meet the strength requirement. But her buffs got better. So, yeah. I think anybody who used her before is going to be happy, even happier with her now. Torvis, are they a hero? Oh, Torvis. Are the heroes' tier lists going to be updated and consolidated in the future? If you're referring to like the 3 tier lists I made once upon a crime, I'm not even going to say it's once upon a crime, years ago. No, never. Like I said in my tier lists, I hate tier lists. I did say I would no longer be updating those. It says it in those tier lists. Because they are a lot of work. I don't like them. And no one's happy with them when I make them. And there are people in the community that make tier lists. You can go watch their stuff. You can go watch their stuff. Or read their stuff, watch their stuff. I will not be doing tier lists. I occasionally make my own personal tier list for my account because that's really the only way tier lists work in this game, is if you figure your own out, because this game is super hyper specialized for what you have, what item levels you have, what kind of items, legendaries, legendary levels, feats, blessings, perks. It's all super, at Modron cores, it's all super specialized. So King Mufasa, how do I equip the damage skins? So if you're talking about click damage skins, the same way you clip any skin, well, not any skin, the same way you change things, it's the swippy swappy button. So if you don't have one on click damage, that means you don't have any click damage skins. But if you click on it, it lets you swap between them. Going back to Snowball. Yeah. There are some available in the gem shop. And then again, the cat. I was thinking cat. Guinevere's Paw will be available soon. With the season. No Mercy Nerd, how do I unlock the Modron automation achievement severely underpowered? Power and output with 0 flow. Yeah, we get this a lot. So if we go and look at a core, I'll do it to this one. Let's clear this one. So this is your Modron core output. And then what they want you to do is get your flow down to 0. It says power a node with 0, but I don't think you have to actually... I don't know if you have to actually hook it up to a node. But that's the easier part, hooking it up once you're done. What you need is a lot of these splitters. I use T's to get me there usually. Just going to go back and forth with a bunch of T's here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do this like... this. This should potentially drop it even faster. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm in the wrong spot. This is your output node. I meant my automation node. Folks, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. That's on me. That's on me. All right, let's try to do this quickly. So every time I split the amount of flow, it starts at 1. Every time I split, the amount of flow goes down. So down here, I'm sitting at 0.076 flow. So I'm just going to keep splitting and keep splitting and keep splitting and keeps... Oh, well, that powered a node, but it wasn't at 0. It's at 0.003, right? I think you get where I'm going with this. You just keep doing this. You just keep doing this. There's 0.001. Oops. There's 0, right? So now if I were then to just go ahead and hook this up to something like this, scroll up, I would have a node hooked up at 0 flow. That's what they're trying to do. I wasn't going to mention it because it was funny. Yeah, it was funny. All right. That's how you do it. You need a lot of splitters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 or 13. 12. You just need 12. I didn't need this one. This one could go away. You need like 12 splitters. T splitters. If you have quad splitters, that's going to do it even faster. That's going to do it even faster. Matt's Bud, I'm a relatively new player. Welcome to the game. Don't know which champions I should invest pigments into. That is a big question lately. If I make a bad choice, is it possible to get the pigment back somehow? Not really. The technical answer is yes. But the functional answer is not really no. Here's the thing. You can only get pigments back off a full dismantle. This button right here. This button you only get this button for a short period of time when a champion gets a rework. Even though Artemis didn't get a rework. It's basically when they're in a season now, because reworks only happen during seasons currently. Major reworks. Otherwise, you would only, when this happens, it's legendary dismantle, which only pulls legendaries off. So, functionally, no, you're not going to get it back. So what do I recommend? I recommend holding on to them until you know which champions, until you get champions that you know are potentially really strong champions, like the meta champions, and you know you're going to, or just champions that you love using all the time. Now maybe not necessarily your core champions, but like event champions that you pick up. And then maybe just put one on each of those. So everything isn't all in one place. That's how I make my decisions. I've only put one on each of certain champions. But yeah, that's that. I would start there because you're not going to get them back. You're not going to get them back. Hailstorm, why are we able to dismantle legendaries now? Is this a new feature? No, it's a function of seasons. So it's a function of champion reworks. But again, currently, they've stated that their intent basically is rebalances of champions happen in a season. So whenever they do a big rebalance to any champion, they trigger a full dismantle on that champion, and then everyone else in the game gets a legendary dismantle just in case you had built their legendaries around using them with that champion, and now you don't want to use that champion anymore. This was originally triggered based off nerfs to Shara and Briv and Human. Because if you had built formations around Shara pushing, they were like, well, I need to give stuff back. So you can do that. So now this is just a function every time there's a major rework to a champion. Currently, those major reworks centered around seasons. Canellan, do you think the Companions of the Hall will get even crazier as the seasons go on and you get all the Mithral Hall stack feats? I mean, I think they're going to get... I think they could potentially get a nice, solid group bonus, yeah. Right now the max is 6, but that would increase to 18 if you equip all of those. Yeah, and remember, that's multiplicative, so... You know, depending on what their bonus is, you're putting it to the power of 18, if 18 is the max. I don't know if it's going to be 18, but... You know, whatever the max ends up being, every time you're multiplying something against itself, yay. So yeah, it could be a really nice bonus by the time you get them all. That's why I said I think those feats are going to be kind of the de facto feats when you're using those champions to get those extra Mithral Hall stacks, because that's going to be, most of the multipliers are going to be bigger than most of the feat multipliers situationally. The Mithral Hall 2 stacks are always, I feel like, always going to be better, but we'll see. Pump House, do levels skipped by Briv count towards Modron Core XP? Yes, they do. So if you look down here and you see your Modron Core XP, all mine are leveled to 15, so I can't show you what it looks like when it's lower, but what you'll see is they will count, but you won't see the bar moving as much as it should. It will only move while you're in an adventure. It will only move based off the levels that you saw yourself complete. But what it does is it's counting it in the background. It's a visual bug. It is tracking it in the background because, and I know this because what'll happen is you'll be, say you're at level 1 and you're leveling up, and you'll look over here and you'll be a ways away from finishing. But then suddenly you'll get the pop-up of, you just got a Modron chest, which you get from leveling up your Modron core. And you'll go look, and it'll be like right here. And you're like, what? But if you reset your adventure, it fills in. So there's still a visual bug, which is it's not representing the levels Briv is skipping, but Briv is counting them. The Modron is counting them. Mean Cab, is there a current core is best for Artemis Caddy Bree base pushing? I am not an Artemis player. But here's my guess. Artemis is unaffiliated. He is not a member of any group currently. There's an argument that in the current timeline he's potentially breaking Day Earth. Potentially, which is Jarlaxle's group. Jarlaxle should have an affiliation breaking. I would love to see more breaking Day Earth. Drow added. Like I said, Athergate. I think if you add Athergate, I think you could argue for a breaking Day Earth affiliation. But right now, Artemis is unaffiliated. Also, right now, the unaffiliated core can be supercharged to the max. And it is an incredibly strong core when it is. That makes me think, right now, the core of choice would be unaffiliated for Artemis. I don't know. I'm not an Artemis main. You want to ask an Artemis main, but right just off the top of my head, I'd say unaffiliated. But I don't know for sure, because I don't do that. There are a lot of people in the community who can ask about that, though. Matt's Bud asking the CNE Discord. Matt's Bud, why would you want to close a time gate early? Is there an incentive to do so? Yeah, just to get it done and get your favor conversion if you want it right away. Sometimes you want to do time gates back to back to back, like maybe for the same champion, maybe more efficiently for different champions, to burn through time gate pieces. You don't want to wait the 3 days. So yeah, there's reasons. Do you have to? No. Like if you're not doing one of those reasons, no. Yeah. Aristotle asked a question, and I'll do it again because maybe some people came in late. Am I the only one that not received their newsletter this week? No, they didn't go out. The newsletter bot most likely took the weekend off. It's probably not going to get fixed. I mean, somebody might fix it over the weekend, but I would say probably not. We might hear some updates on Monday. Probably hear some updates on Monday. That's all the questions on my document, folks. We made it through a good amount, a little over a couple dozen. If you have more questions, fire away. Fire away in chat. I will read it. I'm trying to see if there's anything we wanted to comment on that came in early. Yep, nope. I don't see anything. I've been answering all the questions. Jordan's been grabbing all the questions. I've been answering all the questions. What's for lunch? I don't know, Jinlando, because I actually had Mexican last night. And while I can eat lots and lots of Mexican, when I go to this one place, I tend to get the same thing every time, and I don't want it 2 days in a row. I'll have pizza 2 days in a row, but I won't have that 2 days in a row. So I don't know. I got to figure that out. That reminds me, this is the last stream of the weekend. Last stream of the weekend for the CNE Games channel. They'll be back on Tuesday, is my understanding. Hold on, let me check my calendar. Yes, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacifically speaking with Mars' Guiding Hand. However, I stream on my own channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. It's right below there if you don't know how to spell it. But it's spelled like it sounds. It is. I stream on my own channel, and I'm going to be streaming in about an hour and 15 minutes-ish over on my channel. If you want to come hang out. It won't be Idle Champions. I play other games on Saturdays, Tuesdays and Saturdays. I play whatever game I'm currently working my way through. Right now it's that Jedi game you may have heard of. But on Mondays and Wednesdays, usually, I stream Idle Champions and a little show called Idle Chatter over on my channel. You can come hang out. I think we're going to stream on Monday. Even though Monday is a holiday, I will probably stream Idle Chatter. However, I think Wednesday I'm probably not next week, because Wednesday is going to be launch day for the seasons. The season's going to start, and there are going to be a lot of special streams on they have a full schedule of streams on Wednesday over on the CNE Games channel. So I will probably just be doing season stuff and hanging out in chat instead of streaming myself. But usually that's a Monday and Wednesday thing. So if you ever want to hang out with me and my community, who many of are in the chat right now, you can do that. Go throw me a follow. Regis. Different kind of Regis. Who's better? Who's the better speed best in slot? So who is the best speed champion? Nahara or BBEG in slot 3? It depends on the feat. It depends on the feat. And I'm not talking about how fast they run. BBEG has a feat. Here, we'll go take a look. That doubles its it's railroad. Is it railroad? It's railroad. It doubles the effect of their railroad ability, and their railroad is their speed ability. So if you so it starts off at like 25% reduction in your quest goals up here at the top right. Whereas Nahara is like 35 base and I think can get up to 45. But that feat doubles BBG's to 50% quest reduction. That makes them, so with the feat, they're the best in slot. Without it, Nahara is. So it's really feat specific. Really feat specific. But again, it's not, I know people want to figure out the most efficient way for their speed formations, but keep in mind the best part of having two champions with speed in the same slot is when one of them can't be used in a variant, you have another option, hopefully. I really hope they end up with speed champions in every slot, and not just a speed champion in every slot, multiple. So that we can do variants faster. As long as they're usable in different places and not just all in the same place. Yes, please. Yes, please. Escarp, what is the blue icon next to where the gear items are listed? This one. This is the Forge button. This is the Forge button. So if I want to go look at the Legendary Forge, if I've unlocked Trials of Mount Tiamat in the Legendary Forge, I can go either forge a Legendary on that item or go upgrade it or reforge it. So it's just a quick way that you can go, like if you're looking here at a specific champion and you decide, you know what, I want to upgrade this level, this item, or I want to turn it into a Legendary, you can do it straight from here. Otherwise, you go here and there's this big interface that shows you all your champions that have gear, and you can choose to put legendaries on them. All of mine have legendaries, but that's maybe not how you should do it. I just wanted everything orange. Like, sometimes you play the game the way you want to play the game, and sometimes you're efficient. Those aren't necessarily the same things. Ricardoso, I've got weekend brain and haven't looked into it at all, so the excuse is laziness. Is Regis's gold find competitive in cases where Merowyn is also available? Ooh, it's really going to depend on. Oh no, I don't think so. Hold on, because I'm sitting here with some Bounty of the Hall stacks. It's 6,300%, but this requires me having other Mithral Hall people in the formation, and when you're gold finding now. You're not going to use... Dritz is now out of Azaka farming. We're talking about Azaka farming, folks. Dritz is now out of Azaka farming. No reason to ever have Dritz in your Azaka farm. Dritz no longer provides gold find. So unless you just need an extra drow for Jarlaxle, yeah, no. And I think even without adding in her specialization, she's going to have a lot more gold find than that. Yeah, we're in the EO4s before I even get her spec to boost it. So, yeah, Regis isn't competitive for Azaka farming. Never was. I mean, well, if you had him, he's better than nothing. Once upon a time, Azaka farming was based around the Companions of the Hall and Azaka, but no, you still... I haven't used Regis for a long time. You would still do, like, Dinar... with the sticky just to double the gold drop and then switch to Merowyn. If you have everyone available. Obviously, if you don't have everyone available, you just use whoever gives you the biggest numbers. Yeah. Because you're really not gonna... even with, like, if Regis plus... So would give one on his own and then 3 more with feats, and that's not going to be enough. It's not even enough with 6 right now. So, but the nice thing is if you are running a full companions formation, and you have those feats in, you get a lot of gold find. You're going to be able to upgrade stuff faster. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Mm. Yeah, and Merowin also boosts Rust, and usually, if you've got all the champions, Rust and Merowin are the big combo. The big combo. Thanks for answering. Now I'll go forge a legend. Yeah, so forging a legendary basically, it's part of the Trials of Mount Tiamat system. So when you get access to trials, which is you have to finish the Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus campaign, and then these buttons will appear, and this volcano will appear down here on the bottom left on the banner. So once you do that, you'll be able to start a trial of Mount Tiamat, and the reward for that are scales of Tiamat, which you can see right here in my inventory. These scales then you take to the forge, and you can then turn any epic item you have into an epic legendary item, because you keep the epic ability, but you add a legendary effect. So you see at the bottom it's scrolling up and saying you keep the epic, but then it also increases the damage of all elf champions by 150%. So there is a list of epic effects, or legendary effects, excuse me, that could potentially be added, and it adds them at random. I talked about this like a lot yesterday. If you want to watch GG2E from yesterday, the VOD for that. But yeah, so it's going to apply that legend randomly. Unfortunately, all of my gear is legendary. I can't show you, but it's basically you start off at like 500 scales for the cost of forging a legendary and on one champion, and every time you forge a new legendary on that champion, so the 6 items, it goes up by 100. Yeah. So it's something like 3,500 or 4,500 total scales to get full legendary at level 1. Then you spend scales upgrading that item, because every time you upgrade an item, like that one was 150 as the base bonus for level 1. If I upgrade it to level 2, the bonus doubles to 300. Upgrade it to level 3, the bonus doubles to 600. It just keeps doubling every time you upgrade it. And you can upgrade a legendary up to level 20. It takes more and more scales, and there are high favor requirements. So yeah, it's not easy, but it's what you do when you want lots of power end game. Legendaries are an enormous source of power, and if you get them fully upgraded and you have full legendary on an entire formation and you have them upgraded, it's far more power than even a fully supercharged Modron core provides. They are massive. It's one of the reasons why I now say there's really no way for people to say, when you go, what's the best pushing formation? I don't know. What's your best pushing formation? You tell me. Because who you have your legendaries on, what effects they got, and what level they are now huge factors in what your best pushing formation is. Looks like that's I think that's all the questions for today. Yeah. Yeah. The best way to think of it is this is why I say it's an epic legendary. You're keeping that epic bonus. Duplicate items still affect the base item bonus, and the shiny only applies to the epic effect. You're just adding another effect to the item with legendary. It is both. It reads as a rarity upgrade, but it's not. You have an epic legendary item. You have an epic legendary item. I think that's going to be it for today, folks. What song are we going out on? Remember, I'll be streaming on my channel about an hour if you want to come hang out. Because the problem is we did Dritz's song the other day. I did Jarlax last week. I did Jarlax's yesterday. Oh, it's Bruner, the greatest Dwarven king. Of course. RCP, I'll answer your question real quick. How to get gems right away? Normally, just go complete a new adventure, because gems are the reward for completing adventures and variants. That's pretty much how you get gems right away. There is gem farming with speed champions, but honestly, it's until you get super high level into gem farming, it's more efficient for you to just try to play through an adventure as quickly as possible, get the reward from it along with the gems from killing bosses along the way. That's it. I have a lot of gems, and that comes from gem farming. But again, when you're newer, completing adventures right away. Completing adventures right away. All right, folks. If you're not going to hang out with me in an hour or so, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bruno, battle hammer, charging on the field, battle wave the banner. They know we'll never yield, so they run with the clamor, yeah. Bruno, battle hammer, ranks closing, but the whole line shatters. Hail of arrows, you can hear the clamor, yeah. Their lights can't hold against the king so bold. Make him proud of the clans alone. Gaarawarr, he's on fire. Lion savior of the Mithral Hall. Remember, I'm Swindale, so raise your hand to the great and strong and king, so say we all. Ages fang, hammer of the gods, all the heroes sang. Gift for the sun and praise by his hand, yeah. Gone too grim, lifetime of searching was the doom of him. The sacrifice denied the halls of more redeemed, yeah. Beats can't hold against the kingdom bone. Make him proud of the road. Gaarawarr, lead in fire. Lion savior of the Mithral Hall. Remember, I